Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nancy Rebecca and I'm a retired registered nurse, but for the past 30 years, ever since I had an out-of-body experience, I've been not only studying the human energy field, but I've been learning a lot about the multi-dimensional world and the underworld and the upper world and everything. Every person that ever came in to have a session with me brought with them so many incredible kind of energetic experiences that I learned a lot. But 17 years ago, in 2017 is when I first met the very first star being that I had ever come in contact with. And so that's why I'm making this series about the different types of star beings and how am I selecting them. They are just coming in. They kind of just let me know which is going to be the next group that we're going to be talking about. You can imagine my excitement when it was the Sirians and the Orions together that came in this past week that wanted to share with you all kind of a little bit about where they come from, their kind of frequency, what would I call it, their frequency stamp, the way that they make imprints on the world. And as I talk about them, some of you may notice that you're feeling the frequency of each one, the frequency of the Sirians and the frequency of the Orions. So pay attention as they both come through and share some more information. And I was excited because it is the Sirians. I've always called them the blue celestial beings of light because I never knew exactly who they were, where they came from, because like I said, it was my first exposure. But since 2017, I have since learned much about them. When our first engagement was, they showed up in my meditation room and they shared with me that through telepathy, that they were asking me to go to China to get the blue light prophecy. And so I can't even describe to you just try to imagine what that would be like. To suddenly, for the first time, the Sirians are quite tall. They've got long legs, very long arms, long necks. Their features are very kind of elongated in the front. If you think about the movie Avatar, they very much have those types of features, very soft, almost doe-like eyes. They definitely have light in their third eye. They definitely have light in the different aspects. But when I heard them communicating, it sounded like whale songs, dolphin songs, clicking sounds. And you would have thought that because I've got the gift of sight and I could see them, you would have thought that I would have gotten up and ran away. But in actuality, they're so full of incredible benevolence, love, kind, caring. There wasn't this sense of pleading. There was just this sense of, we've come to you because we need you to go to China to get the prophecy of the blue light. And I will share with you that experience happened around March, and by September, I spent a month in China. I did go get the blue light prophecy. It's a whole story I need to write a book about one day. But the prophecy is this, that there would be coming waves upon waves upon waves of blue celestial light to dissolve illusions, to bring great clarity to what's really true and what's not true, and to bring about justice from some of the deep, deep corruption that's happening in the world. It was going to break through. And this isn't just current in our lifetime. This could be hundreds, thousands of years of just layered imbalances in our culture. Let's just put it that way. So I came back and I just started. They said, we want you to share this with humanity. And so I did little bits at a time, but it was the day that Pam Gregory had reached out to me. We were talking about the blue beings of light. She asked me if I'd be willing to come onto her channel and talk about it. And even though I was a little bit shy and reluctant, I did. And that's when I realized I was not the only one in the world that the Sirians had reached out to, and that many people were being asked to kind of anchor in this blue light. All right, so they came back in again last week, but this time they came with the Orions, and this is the very first time they have come in with the Orions. As a matter of fact, I thought Orions and Sirians were the same exact star being, and they are not. So the Orions, how they look is, I don't know them all. This is the first time I've seen them this week, but they do tend to be anywhere from 5, 6, maybe close to 7 feet tall, not quite as tall as the Sirians. They do have a human face, a human-shaped head. I don't see any hair on their head. They do have, it's like the skin is a little bit thinner, but they look like humans with human eyes. They do also have a glowing third eye. The top of their head, it's not like big like a gray, but it would definitely be like the top of my head would be a little bit more expanded, because they are highly known for their high intellect, high levels of knowledge, the knowledge keepers that go back probably since the beginning of time. The Sirians come from the planet Sirius, so there's Sirius A, Sirius B, also known as the dog star, but it is known as the brightest star in the night sky that most people can see around the world. The indigenous cultures are strongly connected with that particular star. I always thought it was part of the Orion's belt, but it is not. And I'm going to tell you why here in a little bit, because I finally got the clarity that I've been looking for all these years. So the Orions, even their body shape is very human-like as well, but they're very structured. Their personalities are kind of definitely the builders. So they're the ones where they're almost gleeful when things are falling apart, because it's like, all right, the money system's breaking apart, and the medical system's breaking apart, and this is breaking apart, and that's breaking apart, and whatever you want to name, it's all breaking apart. And then it's like, all right, let's bring in the earth movers. They get it all cleaned up, and they start preparing and bringing in everything to prepare the new structures, and they're already doing that. And this is why they came in with the Sirians this time, because they wanted us to know that these structures are already beginning to be put in place, so that, like, the Sirians are very representative of the blue plasma light, the light codes, the sacred geometry, which is all about structure as well. The Orions are also about sacred geometry, really helping to hold quantum physics to kind of contain, provide a container. And when I taught, I have a course that I teach about light codes and blue plasma and sacred geometry and those things like that, that as I was teaching, the information was coming through. Then when the Sirians said, okay, now add the sacred geometry. And so I said, so why is this important? And I said, because it's going to stabilize the human energy field, so that the human energy field can begin integrating and turning into a body of light. And I'm going to try to stay on track. So really working with the body of light. So they're also here to help add to the human structure. They're not doing anything to your energy field, but they're just adding kind of their light, their structure to the frequency of the earth, so that we can more easily kind of adopt it if we choose to, and integrate it if we choose to. Let's see what else. They also had come in to talk to me about the waves of blue that are going to be coming through again, but this time it's very connected to humanity, and it is the elder activation. I talked about this in my previous video. I'll try to remember to share the link here. But the elder activation is an activation of getting the chakras, the lower chakras really ready to go, the hips, the lower back, the legs. I talked a lot about it then. And then there will be crown chakra activation. So there's really this activation above, activation below, adding more structure. But this first wave is for the elders, you know, kind of like 50 and older, to start anchoring in the wisdom, all the life lessons that you all have learned. They are saying all that wisdom, all of that knowledge, all the heartbreak, all the job changes, all the raising of kids, all the supporting parents during the dying process. Like, our elders have been through all of that, and it's going to be essential for our elders to really anchor in that solidness of wisdom. It's like, we've been here before, we've done this before, we've got this, we're going to do this. I've got your back. And as that structure gets really strong, it's going to be pretty intense. Well, I don't want to use the word intense. That's not right. There's this sense of like, it's going to be impactful to our lives, and it's going to show up in different ways, you know. And I will talk more about that, you know, as the days unfold. But over these next 6 months, it'll be fairly rapid. And then over the next 3 years, it will come in kind of more gentle waves. But it can feel rapid because we're just trying to adapt to higher frequencies. I mean, after all, we do have the fire horse that's coming through on February 17th, which is just in a few days away from this video. However, if you're listening to this video even 6 months from now, we are still well into the fire horse year. And so I'm incredibly excited about learning how to adapt and shift quickly into new states of being. And I'm excited for all of us to share that with each other. So when I said I thought the Orions and I thought the Sirians were the same exact being because they're blue, I see them as blue. And now what I'm realizing is that for Orion's belt, so it's known as 3 large planets known as Orion's belt, the Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned with that star system. The pyramid system outside of Mexico City, Teotihuacan, is aligned with that star system. Then there's a place in China aligned with the star system of pyramids outside of Xi'an, China. It's spelled Xian. And that's where I got the prophecy, by the way, in Xi'an, China. And then the place that surprised me, and it shouldn't have surprised me, when the Sirians, the blue celestial beings, said, now the light's going to come through the pyramids in the United States. And I was like, oh, I didn't know we had pyramids in the United States. So when you hear me say that, have you ever thought about pyramids in the United States? And so I kind of waited because, they would kind of explain it to me. And then finally it came through that in Hopi land, and I most certainly, I mean no harm. I'm not speaking, for the indigenous cultures. And so I don't desire to offend anyone. But the star beings, and I knew nothing about this, said that in Hopi land there are 3 mesas, and that those used to be pyramids hundreds of thousands of years ago. and that they are flat mesas because of the weather kind of wearing them down. And so there's actually a book about that, so you can go look it up. You can order the book. You can read more about it if you desire that. But the three mesas are aligned with Orion's belt. So there's this significance with Orion's belt and these pyramids of structure. So remember we talked about the Orions are highly intellectual, highly based on structure and everything that they do. They're going to provide the structure needed for transformation. So then I learned about Egypt. So I visited Egypt, I'm trying to remember, I think it was in May of 2025. I learned a lot. I have created a program that you can order and learn about the light codes, but I also created a 12-week program that's an Egyptian program called Creation Code, and I will also put that link here below if you're interested in taking a look at that. What I did not realize was that the Orions, the star beings, the Orions, are aligned with Osiris. So Osiris, is a king, was a king in Egypt, and was married to or in relationship with Isis. And we know a lot about Isis. If you don't know, you can look it up. There's an incredible amount of material about Isis. But Isis is associated with the Sirians. And so that blew my mind because I thought they were all together, and they are together. So there's this dichotomy of the Orions are about structure, the Sirians are about flow. The Orions are all about high intellect, strategic planning, about transformation, and the Sirians are about intelligence, but also with heart, with benevolence. And then, what was I saying about the structure and intelligence? Oh, strategy. So when the Orions strategize structure and plans and movements forward, it's the Sirians that kind of like bring the benevolence and bring the cosmic culture of light to flow through it. And so when I was talking to the Sirians and the Orions as they're explaining this, that parallel Osiris and Isis, they also said it can be quite similar to the male and the female. It can be quite, anyway, it can just about opposites. There's a lot of this kind of yin-yang blend between the two of them. But I was shown an image by the Orions of the Great Pyramid of Giza with my clairvoyance in this kind of imagery. And so they wanted to share with me this kind of example. So then they show me that the Great Pyramid of Giza is like this power center, and that it's completely designed to be this power center and to radiate light. And then it showed this blue light coming right down through the top, which they would say would be like that plasma, that elixir. And then it would just completely spread and move out all around. So that was their symbolic way of sharing with me how it's going to work here in your own lives, whether it's your Western world, whether, it's in other countries, in the South or the North. The Orions also explained to me that they track the poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. So we hear a lot about that movement, are the poles shifting? And so the Orions were a lot around keeping all of that into balance as well. Plus north of the equator, south of the equator. And then it's about, like the solar flares and the earth vibrations. There's a lot of frequencies being put into place to help really keep Earth as stable as it can be. And it was interesting because, we've gone through this 26,000 year cycle. We're entering into the golden age, but we're still kind of standing in the doorway. Haven't fully moved deep enough into the golden age to feel that sense of relief yet. But what they were saying was the imbalances we're experiencing on the earth, the majority of them are human made, human design, human memories, ancestral experiences. And they showed it's like layer upon layer upon layer of old history. And some of it not so pleasant. And so the reason why the Sirians were bringing through that laser blue light through these different pyramids and going deep into the earth was to start to shatter and break apart those layers of old pain and grief and fear, and we could make a laundry list, right? And it did start to break it up. So 2017, that's when in 2019, 2021, 2023, lots of things were moving and shaking up. So I was also confused about the Orions because sometimes they have been associated with being a warring type culture. And so they're more like, when I talk to them, they're very grounded, they're very no nonsense, they're very quick to call BS. And so if there is this upset, they're going to build the structure to bring it back into balance and harmony. So the way that the Sirians and the Orions are explaining to me that they're like, these are my brothers, these are my sisters. And then the Orions look at the Sirians, these are my brothers, these are my sisters. And that they really, really complement each other. So as I wrap this up, the final thing I'm going to say is, I'm speaking from a place that for me, I know as a truth, but there's no way to prove what I've just shared with you. And so I hope that you just take what resonates with you, let go of the rest, that it's really important that you be intuitive, you listen to your own intuitive information, you be discerning. It's like, no, I'm not quite sure about this. And that has to be okay. And I do believe that as the frequencies go up, all of us are going to be able to see, feel, sense, hear, and know all of the different classes of star beings that are walking among us right now. They're not just somewhere else that pop in through portals, wormholes, and different dimensions. Both of these beings can do that easily. They are here on Earth, and some of them are really embodied in human form, working at what I call the boots on the ground. But they've always said, human issue, human cleanup, but they're here to support us while we do that. Anyway, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking about the Sirians and the Orions. I would love for you to contribute any kind of cosmic intuitive hits that you know, or maybe that you've communicated with them. Maybe you've got some higher level cosmic knowledge, celestial knowledge that you've just been waiting to share with someone. This is the space to do that. So go ahead and put that in the comment section. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me on another Saturday, and I look forward to following up. We're going to find out who are the next type of star beings that are going to come through to us. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.